Hey there, we are home from Disney now, and we just wanted to give you our thoughts and feelings about things and kind of tell you a few things that you might have not seen or heard us talk about before. So I've kind of written things down, and we'll just go through what I've written down, and hopefully this will help you some. I will be doing a food only video. If you watch my vlogs, you'll see the food in the vlogs. I'm going to keep it in there. But I'm going to do a food only video because a lot of people like us will get on YouTube and look to see, hey, what do they have to eat and what are some examples of things that people eat while they're there. And so if you don't want to watch my whole vlog and see Kevin and I running around and going on rides, then you can just see the food and you can see how much it costs and all that stuff. So that's why we're doing that. We weighed ourselves before we left because we truly thought, or at least I did, that we would gain weight, at least a couple pounds. I thought it would be like 3 pounds that we would gain while we were gone. So we got on the scale, the day before we left? The day before we left, and then we weighed this morning, we got back last night, so we weighed first thing this morning. And we weighed the same.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
It was the same. So, and it's because when you go, this is not a calm, relaxing vacation.
Plus, we don't eat regular meals while we're there. We eat just like as we go. So we're not eating. Actually, I probably eat less there than I would if I was sitting at home with candy bars and cookies and stuff sitting around the house. I probably ate less there than I did here.
I told Kevin, I said, when we go, that's one of my things. When we go to Disney, you can eat whatever you want. You can have ice cream all day long. And it was hilarious because the first day we left at 5?
It was 6 o'clock.
Like 6 o'clock in the morning on Father's Day on the 15th. And we left, and Kevin had a bar, like a 180 calorie bar or something like that. And we left, and he did not get to eat that day until 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah, neither one of us did.
No, I hadn't eaten a thing all day long until 4 o'clock that afternoon. But it's funny because I told him before, you'll get to eat whatever you want on this vacation, and it's like the first day I'm starving him already. But my secret diet plan is to take him to Disney.
Yeah.
But that wasn't it at all. We just, like he said, we'll eat like one big meal a day, and the rest of it's like snacky food. I still thought though, eating high calorie food, that we would gain weight, so I was really surprised that we didn't. But one of the reasons why too is because when we get there, we hit the ground running. We are doing things constantly and walking, and Kevin wears a Fitbit, so he was wearing that on his arm the whole time, so it added up all the miles that we walked. And one day, our highest day, we walked 11.2 miles that day.
Yeah.
So I think that even surprised you.
Yeah, that was a long time.
Our total miles, the total for the time that we were gone,
Sunday through Friday,
we walked 44 miles.
Yeah, which is a lot.
So it's no wonder that we didn't gain any weight.
Yeah, I mean, you sit for a little while you're on the rides, but the rest of the time you're walking. You sit down for 5 or 10 minutes to eat, and you're up walking again. So you're walking in the heat, sweating. It wasn't too sweaty, but it was. I mean, I didn't get like drippy sweaty,
No.
but it was hot. But you walk, and you don't walk slow most of the time. Now you could walk slow if you wanted to, but you're not going to hit as many things if you walk really slow around the park.
Yeah, if you want to get anything done, you need to walk at a brisk pace. And even this morning, I got on my elliptical, and that's my exercise every day is the elliptical. I get on it in the morning. And I told Kevin, I said, I'm going to try to do the elliptical because I thought after not being on it all week long, it would be really hard for me this morning. And when I got on it, I was shocked because it was actually easier this morning because in Florida, if you took my elliptical and you slid it outside in the heat, and if you waited until it got about 85 degrees outside and then you got on the elliptical, then that would be Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So this morning it was actually easier because I was in a cool house with a fan blowing on me. So it was actually easier today than it was in Florida. So actually you were doing the elliptical, I'm telling you, you were doing that because it was so hot. That's the type of workout that you're getting. And I can't stress that enough. If you do not like heat, then you should not go
During the summer.
at least in June or July. You should
Even
not
May,
go.
even May and August is still hot. Not as hot, but it is still hot.
Yeah, we've been in May, June, and July, and our best month was May.
Yeah, and it was middle May.
Yeah,
It
mid-May.
was really nice, and then it wasn't too crowded.
Mm-mm.
The schools hadn't really got out for the year yet. We went. Did we go under in spring break?
No, it was just
It was the very end of the school year.
very end
but
of the school year.
some states don't let out as early as they do in this area. So we got out right at the beginning. I mean, right in the middle. It was like the
May.
second or third week of May, and that was a good year because we didn't have any snow days that year to make up. So we went right after. It was literally the day after school let out or something. Wasn't it? It was like school ended Thursday and we went Friday or something
Yeah, it was
like
crazy.
that. And it was really good because a majority of the schools hadn't let out for the summer yet, so nobody had been on vacation yet. It was really, really nice. If we were to go, just me and you go, I think I would go like the beginning of May because I get out of classes usually May 5th or so. I would go right after that first week of May, or I would wait until fall break where it's more towards the October time.
Yeah, if you get
that
a
would be
fall
cool.
break,
I'd like to go there once during October. I think that'd be
yeah,
cool.
to the Mickey's, not the
Not so
scary,
scary.
Halloween party.
Yeah.
That looks like a fun time. But if you don't like crowds, then then Disney's probably really not the vacation for you.
And you also get during June and July, and we've observed it and I've read it online. You get the huge out-of-country tour groups of teenagers. We saw Brazil, and there was all kinds of different. I couldn't even name all the different countries. And they were like probably 15 to 30 high school kids in a group with the leader holding a little flag up, and they're all wearing like red or yellow or green shirts, and they follow as a group to each thing. The bad thing about that is when that group hits a ride, there's 30 people in line automatically, bam, right at one time. So June and July is pretty bad for those kind of groups too. So that adds the crowd. We walked in one day and there was 5 groups of those.
Yes.
There were 5 groups of people, big groups of 15 to 30 people, and there were 5 of them all lining up all at the same time running in. And we said, did we pick the wrong park today? But
Right.
it ended up not being bad because you spread out.
Well,
but
we went the other way.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing. If you see them go one way, then
Go
you
the
go
other.
the other way, and you avoid them.
Yeah.
Because it really is a pain.
And most of them are pretty well behaved, though. I do have to say that most of them are pretty good. Now, you
Yeah.
got some stinkers in the bunch, but for the most part, they're pretty. They don't raise too much ruckus.
No, they really don't. But it is just the fact of it being such a big crowd that you don't want to get stuck behind them, and they want to stay together as a group.
Yeah.
So you can't really try to squeeze in between them because
They're hard to get around.
Yeah, they're very hard to get around.
Oh, and I just want to say too about the heat and things like that. This is my personal opinion completely, but I know that young children get in for free and stuff. But we saw so many babies. It's 90 degrees out there. There's really not much babies can do there.
I think 2 and under gets in free.
2 and under gets in free. And we saw many babies that were 6 months old or so pushing Tyrannosaurus. And, I don't wrong you for that. That's fine if you do that. But me personally, I would never do that because they were sweaty and crying and miserable. It seemed like I can imagine as a parent being there in all that heat with a crying baby that's sweaty and cranky. I can't imagine that being fun for me personally. So we think the ideal age is probably around 7 or so.
About 7 or 8, yeah.
Because and some people said 2 was the perfect age, and I think that I can't even imagine taking a 2-year-old myself. But 7 or 8 would be perfect because they can ride everything. There's not one single ride that they probably couldn't ride. Even the roller coasters, they could probably ride those. They're probably tall enough then. And they can handle themselves. They can walk pretty much all day long. If they do happen to lose track of you, they're old enough to where they can find someone and, you know, get help. Whereas a 2-year-old, if they get lost, they're lost. I mean, there's no helping them. You know, they can't find anybody. And they can handle the heat a little bit better when they get to be, you know, 7 or 8 years old too. So I don't know. That's my personal opinion. Like I said, I know there were tons of people with kids much younger than that.
Well, and
it works out for them, but
you're getting on buses. If you stay at the resort, then to get from the resort, unless you rent a car, then to get from the resort to the park, which I showed during the video, you get on a bus. You're taking those kids on a bus like that, and that's not easy. No. If you're not a patient person, Disney's not the place for you. If little things set you off, then you know you have to be very patient. Even if you don't have children, we have to be patient. You know, you're waiting in lines. Sometimes people aren't so nice and they'll cut in front of you, or sometimes you think that just this one person's in line in front of you, but they're saving a place for 5 other family members who will come up at the last minute. So if you're not patient, then it's not the right environment for you.
At least during June and July, because it's really busy. Now, if you go in lesser busy times of the year, it'd probably be fine. But yeah.
Do you want to tell about the memory maker, the photo?
We did something different this year. We've never done it before. It actually just popped up when I was going through the Disney site. They used to be Photo Pass, and now it's called Memory Maker. And what that is it is a you pay $150 if you do it before you go to the park, like before you leave. If you do it in the park, it's $175 if I'm not mistaken. I think that's right. But what you do is you pay for it, and every time you get a character photo, the breakfast with the, what do they call them? The character breakfast, or whatever the dining thing is, where the characters are there and you eat with the characters. You get pictures taken. The people in the park taking pictures of in front of like the castle or in front of Animal Kingdom's tree or whoever's taking pictures that works for Disney. They take your picture and you scan your MagicBand, which we'll mention in a minute, but you scan your MagicBand and that automatically gets put into your, what's it called, Memory Maker site. And also it includes the ride photos too. So like Space Mountain and things, you get your picture taken on the rides, which I'll talk about all that in just a minute when I talk about the bands. But if you do it, for me and Tammy, we kind of worked to get character greetings. We would have never, I don't think we would have done character greetings really if we didn't have
Not
that.
at all.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, if we hadn't to run across one, we might have gotten our picture taken with them just to get our picture taken. You know,
Characters
our own
like
camera.
Mickey Mouse or those, yeah.
But if we hadn't had the Memory Maker, I don't think we would have done as many. I mean, we actually waited in line a few times for some of the characters just because we knew, well, we paid the $150, you might as well get some character pictures out of it.
If you watch the video, I inserted pictures of like when you saw Kevin and I, when you saw that picture of us with Ariel, we had waited in line for like an hour for Ariel, just to meet Ariel, when that was an hour out of our day. And I'm not complaining about it because it was fun. It was something we had never done before. But all of those character, you don't just walk in and, you know, see them. You have to wait in line for those people.
Unless you get Fast Pass for them, which if you got young kids that can't ride a lot of the rides, I would probably get Fast Passes for all the character greets, especially the Frozen characters and Cinderella and you know, some of the more popular characters.
Any princesses.
Any of the princesses, get a Fast Pass for them because you can walk right back in. How long did we wait for Mickey and Goofy at Epcot? Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy at Epcot. We waited a good 45 minutes for it.
I'm trying to remember. I know, I'm trying to remember that.
It was the 3 separate characters we walked in. They showed the Donald Duck, or maybe it was they were showing the cartoons and stuff in Epcot.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
I can't believe that because we waited forever in that line.
Oh! Okay, I'm trying to think. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We never would have done that.
No, that was a long
It was
wait.
a long wait,
That was a very long wait. Well, they were deceptive. They said it was only going to be 20 minutes. You know, when you go on a ride, it'll tell you how long you have to wait over the top, like the name of the ride, and then how long you have to wait. The wait time was 20 minutes, and it was at least.
What they do is the wait time. What happens?
wait
Wait times while the character are actually there. What I think happened with us is the characters take breaks. You know, they rotate in and out. So what I think happened was we got in line, and it probably was 20 minutes while it was moving regularly. But when we got in line, they had went to take a break and switch out characters or switch out people in the character suits. And I think they take a break. Yeah, and the photographers, there was some mess up with the photographers. And anyway, I think that's what slowed it down. So if it was all working smoothly, it probably would have only been 20 minutes. But with it not working smoothly, it ended up being, I think it was probably closer to an hour we were standing.
I think it was an hour.
And we probably should have left, but then again, we're thinking, well, we paid this money, and we've ridden all the rides we wanted to ride anyway at that time. So it was like, oh, we can go ahead and do it. So anyway, if you're going to do character greets, get fast passes if you can. The Memory Maker, I would recommend it if you're going to do a lot of character greetings. Definitely get it, because I don't know how much, I'm not even going to guess, but I know that they're not cheap to get each individual photo printed at the park to buy them. So if you're going to buy like 4 or 5 pictures, I would probably go ahead and do the Memory Magic. Is that what it's called?
Memory Maker.
Memory Maker. Sorry, I keep getting mixed. If you're going to get like 4 or 5 of those, I'd probably go ahead and pay for it. If you're not going to buy that many of those, I don't think I would get it, because it's only digital photos only. You don't get any printed out. If you want to print it out, you can do it in the park, but they charge you to print them out. You download every one of them at home. Once you download them the first time, you have 45 days, or maybe it's only 30 to 45 days, I can't remember which one, that those photos are stored online. Once that time's up, they're gone forever. Big truck. I think you can buy an additional 15 days if you pay like another $15, and it'll extend that out a little bit. So what I did was I got home, I downloaded them, and I'm going to go put frames around them and things like that. It's a neat service, but I don't think I would do it. I don't think I would do it again.
The Memory Maker,
Yeah,
probably
I don't think
not.
so.
No.
I think it's cost too much for us. For us, now if you get characters, by all means, go for it, because it might actually save you money. But just know that you're probably going to have to go to Walgreens or Walmart or whatever photo printing company you use, and actually get them printed if you actually want physical copies, because they're all going to be digital copies. You can't buy them, but you might be able to order print copies, but I would say they would be really expensive.
They'd probably be expensive.
So you're going to have to take them to some kind of photo printer and get them printed out. So anyway.
So that was $150.
Yeah.
And in one of the first videos I showed you us getting our MagicBands in the mail. So I want to talk a little bit about the magic of the MagicBands.
Mm-hmm. What are you using it?
What?
What do you use it for?
You use them to, there's a Mickey, it's like a bracelet, you put it on, you get used to wearing it, it's no big deal.
Waterproof.
It's waterproof, so if you get it wet, it's okay, you sweat, whatever. You use it to get in your room, you tap the Mickey head to the door. You used to have a card that you had to slide in and out. No more card, it's all on your band. And if the band falls off and gets lost and someone else finds it, they can't use it. It's no good to them, because they would have to know, first of all, for the resort, they would have to know what room you were in.
So which resort you were in.
Yeah, in which resort you were staying. So it wouldn't be any good to them. To buy things, anytime you buy something, like if I wanted a t-shirt, you have a PIN number. If they don't know your PIN number, they can't use your MagicBand.
Yeah. Your debit cards can be, it doesn't have to be, it can be tied to your MagicBand. So you can make purchases with it. But yeah, there's a PIN, you touch it to the pad, and then you punch in a 4-digit PIN that you create, and then you make your purchase. You don't have to carry your debit card around with you in the park to get lost.
So it's great, and that's what you use to get into the park too.
That's your tickets.
That's your ticket to get in. You don't have any card, any paper ticket, anything like that. You touch your Magic Band to, it's a circular post, and you touch your Mickey head to their Mickey head, and you get in. Also,
and they also couldn't get in there either because they do your fingerprint too.
Yes, you have to lay your finger of your choice. This was mine. You lay your finger, you touch your band, lay your finger, and then you're in. But I wanted you to talk a little bit about
the weirdness
the
of it, the freakiness of it.
Yes, the part you didn't believe.
Yeah, it's amazing the technology behind this thing, because I mean it's pretty high tech. They're very lightweight. They're very thin. They don't weigh much more than this Fitbit. I mean they're very, very lightweight, small, thin devices. One of the things you do is you do ride fast passes are all saved on that. And hold on one second. Sorry, I had to change the battery, so you'll see a little cut there. But anyway, all your rides, the fast passes, Disney does a kind of a pre-ride to where you can pre-book your place in line with a fast pass. It's called Fast Pass Plus now. But you can get 3 fast passes per day at one park. And once you got those fast passes, you pick your time block. It's an hour block of time, and your place in line is reserved. So you scan your band and you walk in the line. You walk up pretty much right up to where you board the ride. You have to scan it again to make sure somebody hasn't jumped the line from the regular standby line to the fast pass line between the entrance and the ride area, and then you get on the ride. It's really, really good. It's really fast. What's interesting about that, what's kind of crazy, is when you get on the ride, and I mentioned the Magic, what the heck's it called? Memory Maker.
Memory Maker.
Memory Maker, the photo thing, it does ride photos. Well, when you get on the ride, it takes your picture, on like Space Mountain and Everest, some of the other rides.
When you're going.
Yeah, you're making funny faces. It takes your picture. So when we got off the ride, we were like, okay, how do we get our ride photo tied to our Memory Maker, to the photos? So we asked. He said, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's automatic. It's already done for you. You don't have to worry about it. It's taken care of." And we're like, "Yeah, right. How can that happen?" And he said, "Trust me, it's taken care of." And I still didn't believe it. So we went on another ride later on, and I asked that lady, we need to put this on our ride. And she goes, "Oh, it's automatic. It does it for you automatic. You don't have to worry about it." And I'm like, well, 2 of them have said it. Surely, they're not lying. Still didn't 100% believe it. So the next day we went to the park. I asked somebody else at a completely different park, and they said the same thing. So
we're getting our picture taken on these rides, but we're
not saying, okay, we're in this picture number.
Yeah, we're in seat number, or we're in this log flume, whatever. Right. How do they know which car we were on?
And what happens is, as you're on the ride, there's scanners all over the place, and they're scanning your Magic Band while you're on the ride, and it knows exactly which car you're in as you're riding your ride. So they can pinpoint you down to the car you're in on the ride you're riding on that's going by, sometimes pretty fast, going on these rides. It's weird. So that was pretty cool. We thought that was pretty neat. But then what was really freaky was we ate at Be Our Guest for lunch. We made fast pass reservations for that. And what was freaky is you walk in and you order your items, and you go ahead and prepay for everything. And it was just us and a piece of paper receipt, and the guy said, pick anywhere you want to sit down, just lay your receipt on the table, and they'll be with you shortly. And we're like, Tammy was freaked out. I said, you got to trust it. We'll just see what happens. So because my thinking was there was going to be some waiter or waitress come by, look at the receipt and go, okay, this is what they order, and go get it and bring it back. Well, we sit there for like a few minutes, and
what he's not saying is it's huge.
Yeah, oh yeah, this place is monstrous.
This restaurant is huge, and I showed it in the video. If you watch the video, it has 2 smaller, and I say smaller, but they're really not small.
Yeah, they're the size of a regular restaurant.
Yeah, they're the size of a regular restaurant. And then you have the area where we were sitting, which is the ballroom where Belle and the Beast danced. That we sat in the ballroom because we wanted the view of the ceiling and chandeliers and all that. We could sit anywhere we wanted. We could have been in any little corner, and really we were in the back at a table for 2, so that we had this wonderful view. And I just kept freaking out. I said, how are they going to have any idea we're at this table? I said, Kevin, we're never going to get our food. We're
Go
gonna,
ask them.
We're going to be waiting here forever.
Yeah.
Please go ask.
And
he
she
said,
and she saw some people with they have these little plastic rows.
It's
like
a plastic
pagers.
rose, yeah.
Some people carried those in, and we carried one in back for us. We carried one back for some reason. I guess that was our ticket to let go in through the fast pass. So Tammy was like, we should have grabbed that. They just didn't give it to us and all that stuff. Right about that time, we see a cart roll up next to our table, and she goes, so who ordered the turkey? And who ordered the croque monsieur or whatever it is? And they had our order right there. It was ready to go. I mean, they knew exactly what table we were at in that entire restaurant. I mean, this big area. And it was all because of your Magic Band. They knew exactly the table you were at. And if they really knew exactly who ordered what, they probably would have been able to pinpoint the difference between me and Tammy sitting at that table, to truth be told. So our thinking is we kind of jokingly said it reminded of the Roller Coaster Tycoon game, where you see the little characters walking around on the sidewalks, and you can point at them and see their name and how happy they were and how much money they had spent and what they bought and all that stuff. So we were thinking, while the security guys are up there watching the security cameras, they're walking by and these little things are above our heads showing how much money we spent and how, our mood or what, it was. I think it's definitely up to that point.
I think it's really cool. I think, as a side note, besides Disney, I know people don't like to be ruled by the government, but I told Kevin, I said, think about the crimes that could be stopped if people had to wear these. If it was mandatory that everybody had to wear these, wouldn't it be worth it? I know people don't like government control, but wouldn't it be worth it to you if you knew that you could stop a robbery or a rape or a murder, because they're going to find out who did that if you're wearing your band. I think if you knew that you could stop a lot of crime, I think people would be all for that in the regular world. And to be able to pay, I told Andrew last night when we came home, if you could go to the Shell station and you didn't have to pay with a debit card or cash anymore, if you just had to touch a band to pay and it comes right out of your checking account, wouldn't you rather do that? And he was all for that. He sounded like that he would really like that.
And they do have touch and pay kind of things built into cell phones and stuff. They do have some systems like that.
I think it should go like global.
But maybe if you were convicted of a crime already and then you were let go, then they should almost be mandated to have to wear it.
But that would be
not a regular citizen, maybe necessarily. So that person would have to be found guilty of a crime at one time, but then that person is like forever implanted with something. I mean, who knows? I don't know. It
would be neat. That's just a side note. But anyway,
that was pretty high technology that they could track you down. Some lady that we overheard. I don't know if it's true or not. It was just somebody talking, but she had said that one of the cast members had told her that if you had a lost child, they could actually pinpoint that child down to 6 feet or 6 inches or something ridiculous. It was and basically they could tell you exactly where that kid was.
So if you lose a child,
they could actually
with that
find
band.
that
So
child.
these magic bands really are magic. They're great.
Cool.
We loved them.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
And then I wanted to give you the total price for our trip. This includes 4 parks.
Park hopper.
The park hopper, which means if we want to go to Epcot in the morning and Hollywood in the afternoon, we can go from one park to the other. If you don't have this option, then you can't do it. You have to stay at the same park all day long, which is okay, but we spent a half a day at Animal Kingdom and a half a day at Hollywood, so for us it worked out. So this includes all 4 parks, park hopper. How many nights were we at the hotel?
5.
5 nights at the resort. This includes airfare there and back. That was $2,931. And then Kevin added on the $150 for the memory maker, which is all the photos we wanted. If we wanted 1,000 photos taken, $150, that was it.
How many did we get? It was 100.
We did get 100 and something.
105, I think, is how many photos.
So we did end up getting a good deal. Even though we could have gotten many more, it would have cost us
Yeah.
a ton of money.
And some of them, you got like 4 or 5 of the same picture basically. They're just making sure they get it, the lighting and stuff good.
And I inserted those in the video. So, and then so that brought the total to $3,081. And then for food and souvenirs, we've spent $500, which if you didn't want to buy any souvenirs, you don't have to. We bought, you saw the souvenirs if you watched the video. So we just had certain people we wanted to buy for, and that's what we did. So our total for the entire trip was $3,581.
Yeah.
And that's for the food and souvenirs. That was food for Be Our Guest, and the pizza you saw, all the food. So I think that's a good deal.
And we could have saved about, I think the plane tickets were $1,600, $1,600. So if you drove, you could save. When you're going to buy gas and stuff, you figure that's going to be $200 or $300 worth of gas, maybe. It depends how far away you are. So you could save well over $1,000 to $1,500 just by driving. So if you wanted to do that, what me and Tammy's opinion has always been is that takes out almost everybody we talked to, no matter where they were from. It seemed like it was always 15 hours. I don't know why.
Well, the couple we met, like we met a lot of people from Kentucky. But most of the people that we saw from Kentucky said it took them like 14 hours.
Yeah, 14 hours. Then somebody was from Missouri and said they took them about 14 hours. So anyway, that kind of arch right there took about 14 hours. If you're further west, of course, it's going to take longer. So that's 14 hours coming that you have. That's an additional half a day, on pretty much a whole day.
You lose a day
of driving.
Going down.
Yeah, and if you only get a week of vacation and you leave on a Friday afternoon, well, that whole Friday's gone.
Right.
And then you could do it, but you're going to get home the next
you're gonna
weekend
be miserable.
and be
You're
worn
going to be
out.
exhausted.
Yeah.
And then the whole day coming back, you're
Yeah.
going to lose it. So.
And kids in the car for 14 hours, I don't know. The plane ride was only, total of 3 hours plus some waiting at the airport.
Yeah,
So-
it wasn't bad. It really wasn't. If you don't have a fear of flying or something, it really wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I wanted to offer. I've never offered to do this before. I wanted to offer to do a Disney Q&A video. If you're interested, if you have any questions about Disney, about just anything that we didn't answer for you, I'm willing to do a video. If you want to leave your questions below for us, I'll try to wait a little while, give it some time, and then Kevin and I will just pick a time to go through your questions and answer them to the best of our ability. If we can answer it for you, we will. So
Because we have been there 3 times.
yeah, we 3 times, and 2 with kids, and then this time was without. So if there's anything you'd like to know, then we're willing to do that, and hopefully you've enjoyed this.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.